How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a great day because today we have a story of probably the craziest dream stand to ever exist. So sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and let's just jump right into it. I'm going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Sam. So anyways, this all happened when Sam was in 8th grade, which was 6 months ago. Also, real quick, you can dream, you can even be a dream stan. I personally don't care. We're cool either way. As long as you don't act like this girl, you're totally cool. That's all I'm going to say before I hop into it. So anyways, Sam was in 8th grade about 6 months ago. Well, this story happened around 6 months ago. So he was just, in his, lab class or his science class or whatever you want to call it. And normally the teacher let them choose lab partners. But for some reason, one day, the teacher came in and said, hey, I'm actually mixing it up. I'm going to give you randomized lab partners. You guys have been choosing the same people every single day. And everyone's like, what? No, but it's my friend. And he's like, tough. You're going to get a random lab partner and you're going to like it. So anyways, right, Sam was randomized and he got a random person that he didn't really know. Sam normally gravitated towards his one real good friend in the class. But, he's like, all right, well, this is someone new. So anyways, Sam was assigned to this person for, a lab partner. And, they went up there, or Sam went over there and said, hi, my name's Sam. And the other person looked up and said, hey, my name's Sarah. And Sam and Sarah, immediately got to work on the lab, and they actually hit it off pretty well. Things were pretty good. Life was pretty great. It's not necessarily they had a lot in common right away, but they just had really good chemistry, and it was pretty apparent. And by the end of it, Sam's like, hey, I actually had a lot of fun today. We should hang out more, and Sarah agreed. It was always kind of throughout the story, it's not super clear to me if they ever had a kind of a underlying romantic theme or if it was truly just a platonic relationship. I have plenty of friendships with women, and it's just 100% platonic. Those people lie on the internet and say that those can never exist. They can. However, I'm not sure if in this case Sam kind of had a little thing for Sarah or not, but throughout the story, they do remain friends till the very end, and it's insane, but you don't want to miss that. Anyway, so Sam and Sarah, outside of this lab class, would start to hang out a little bit. They still had a free period or whatever type recess deal. At lunch, Sam would normally sit with his boys, but, he would sometimes be like, hey, I'm going to go hang out with some other friends, and they'd be like, what? And then they see him go sit with a girl, and they're like, ooh, you're sitting with a girl. Typical behavior, even from my friends, and we're 19. It doesn't get better, guys, all I'm saying. But anyways, right, so Sam and Sarah, they started to talk more, and they became pretty close friends. And, it came to the point where Sarah actually invited Sam over to her house for a sleepover. And, I will say, a boy-girl sleepover, I have been to one of them. They're pretty cool. But anyways, Sam was like, oh my, really? And Sarah's like, yeah, I mean, we're buddies. I've my other buddies over all the time. Doesn't really matter, And, Sarah's like, well, my mom's cool with it. Talk to your parents. So anyways, Sam went back home and, he hit up he didn't hit up his parents. His parents were there. Sam went back home and he kind of went up to his mom's like, hey, mom, I got a question for you. And his mom's like, yeah, what's up? He's like, so I'm friends with this girl and I really am just friends with her. And Sam's mom's like, yes. She already knew that something was coming up. And he's like, well, so basically what happened is that, she's invited me over to her house for a sleepover, which is I go to sleepovers all the time. And Sam's mom's like, Sam? And Sam's like, no, mom, I swear, I really don't have any feelings for her. She doesn't have any feelings for me. It's just normal. I know it's weird because it's boys and girls, but mom, boys and girls can be friends too. And Sam's mom's like, well, okay, but I trust you on this one. Because, Sam's in 8th grade. Hey, man. And, Sam's like, thank you, mom. That's great. So the next day, Sam gets into school, and he kind of runs up to Sarah. He's like, Sarah, I know I can actually do this. I can come over to your house. And she's like, oh, that's awesome. That's great. I'm so excited. Do you want to do this weekend? He's like, yeah, no, I don't have anything this weekend. So they planned it for the weekend. Sam's going to go over to Sarah's house. Life is good. Well, life wasn't really good, but Sam didn't see that coming. But the only warning sign he got was that, Sam was talking to one of his boys at the lunch table. He decided not to hang out with Sarah that day just because, you had to hang out with the boys. You got to split your time. And he was saying like, oh, it's really cool. Like Sarah and I are actually pretty good friends. I'm actually going over to her house. And one of the boys was like, wait, Sarah, like Sarah, and then says the last name. And Sam's like, yeah. He's like, oh, dude. And Sam's like, dude, what? He's like, I don't really know. Like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you anything specific, but I've just heard things. And Sam's like, bro, what do you mean you've heard things? What are the things? And Sam's friend's like, I don't know. I've just heard that she's like really like this isn't meant to be offensive, but she's just like she's just really, really weird and something happened, but I didn't actually know. And Sam's like, bro, you can't just say that. You can't just say that and then not actually have an answer. And Sam's friend's like, I know, I shouldn't have even brought it up. I don't know. Maybe you want to do some digging. Maybe you don't. I don't think it's just like she's weird, like people don't like her weird. I think something like, I don't know. There's something there. I don't know what it is. But bro, just be careful. That's all I'm saying. And Sam was kind of like, all right, well, obviously my friend's just being a hater and is jealous because I don't really spend as much time with them anymore because I have more than one friend. You know what? He can't deal with the fact that I have more than one friend. So you know what? That's tough for him. And, you know, sure enough, Sam did not heed his friend's warning and kind of paid the price for it later on. And this is probably one of the craziest stories I've ever told on the channel or I've ever received. By the way, submit your own stories to me on Instagram, Connor Pugs, or Discord. Both my links are in the description of this video if you want to submit the stories. Anyways, so Sam packs his bag on that Friday and is super excited, and, you know, he's ready for the next day. You know, Saturday comes around, and he sends a text to Sarah being like, hey, I'm excited for tonight. She's like, yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff planned. And so anyways, you know, Sam's mom is driving him over, and Sam's mom's like, all right, well, you have my number, and if at any point you want to leave, just let me know. Like, I will bring you back. Don't worry about it. And Sam's like, Mom, it's going to be fine. Stop worrying, Mom. God, Mom, why are you so... God damn it, Mom. No, okay. But he was like, oh, like, Mom, I'm fine. Like, don't worry about me like that. Yeah, well, his mom had an intuition, and that all of his friends apparently did too, but Sam just couldn't see. So anyways, Sam and his mom pull up to Sarah's house, and the first kind of red flag was that there was no cars in the driveway. And Sam's mom was like, wait, her parents aren't home? And Sam's like, And Sam's mom's like, all right, I'm coming with you, and if their parents aren't going to be here, well, then I don't think I can let you stay. Sam's like, oh, jeez. So they walk up, right? And, you know, Sam's mom rings the doorbell, and Sarah greets them at the door. Sam's mom's like, hi, Sarah. I'm Sam's mom. I'm so excited to see you. I'm so glad that my son and you are good friends. Are your parents home? And Sarah's like, no, but they'll be back really soon. And Sam's mom's like, how soon do you think? Sarah's like, yeah, I don't know, like 30, 45 minutes. They just went out to get something. Sorry, I think they're just running a little late. They sent me a text. And, you know, Sam's mom's like, okay, I don't think I'm going to, okay, that's fine. Sam, you have my number if you need anything. Sarah, Sam can give you my number if you need to contact me or anything. Bye, guys. And, you know, Sam's mom walks away. Sam's mom should not have walked away, because things are about to get really crazy. And I keep hyping it up, but trust me, it is worth it. So anyways, you know, Sam, you know, walks in, and he's so excited, right? This is Sarah. This is his friend. This is the first mixed-gender sleepover, which he hasn't been to one before, and he's really happy about that. And, you know, Sarah seems pretty excited too. But there's just this weird energy that Sam kind of is, like, acknowledging but also ignoring, because he just thinks it's his nerves. He just thinks he's, like, being, like, a little freaked out about his first, like, oh, my God, sleepover with a girl, whatever, right? But no, it was something else, and he should have paid attention to it. And, you know, Sarah's like, oh, like, do you need to charge your phone? And Sam's like, actually, I do. And his phone was on, like, 20% or something. So she's like, oh, I got a charger, and takes his phone and charges it in another room. This was mistake number, like, 15, but whatever. This was his next mistake. He's now lost access to his phone. So anyways, right, you know, so Sam and Sarah, they walk over, and Sarah's like, welcome to my room. She opens it up, and it's your quintessential, like, very stereotypical, like, girl room. There's, like, all this, like, I don't know what a stereotypical girl room. It just doesn't smell like crap like all boys' rooms do. You know what? That's a compliment, girls. Don't get mad at me in the comment section. Boys, don't stop coping. Your rooms smell bad. I know, because I am one. Anyways, though, so they sit down, they start talking about stuff. They're actually having a really good time because they're both like watching, I don't know, freaking Stranger Things. And this is before the new season came out. So they're kind of like theorizing about what's going to happen next. And, you know, they're really having a good time and all that kind of stuff. And that's when Sarah's like, oh, I'm going to like go to the I have to like go downstairs and go to the bathroom. I'll be back in like 5 minutes. Do you mind just like chilling here? Sam's like, yeah, no, that's fine. So Sarah leaves her room. And Sam, you know, he doesn't like look for her diary or anything, but he's looking around, you know, he's bored. His phone's charging. So he goes around and he sees a closet. And the closet is only like open like a jar, like it's only half open, right? Or it's only open a little bit. So he goes over and it seems to be like overflowing. And one thing Sam also noticed before he came into the room was there's like a lot of weird empty spots on the wall. You know when you have a poster on the wall and it's like it leaves like a sun mark, like the sun's been on it, that like everything around it becomes like lighter, and then when you remove the poster it becomes darker. And also when you have like tape or whatever, it leaves a little like, it kind of peels away the paint where it was. There was a lot of weird things on the wall that just seemed like something was there that was recently removed. But Sam didn't think anything of it really at the time. But when Sam got to the closet, he opened up the closet a little bit and he saw a massive pile of like Dream SMP, all that type of stuff, a big pile of like merchandise and stuff. And that doesn't really matter. You can have a thing, but the thing that like really caught his eye was this big bulletin board type thing. And there was a very big like bulletin board shaped hole in our wall. It was not hole, but like a part that like felt like something was there before. And that started to weird him out. And he like looked at it, and on the top of the bulletin board, it said, "The quest to find Dream, aka Clay." And Sam was like, and down below it had all, you know, there's like in the horror movies or like the guy goes crazy trying to figure something out. He has all the strings attaching the stuff. It was pamphlets, it was flyers, it was everything like trying to figure out Dream and who he actually is and what he actually looks like. And as he's reading it, it says, conclusion, like Dream, and then he finds like a little book, right? A little book next to it. All these flyers and posters trying to find who Dream really is. By the way, if you don't know, Dream is a very popular Minecraft YouTuber. And anyways, he picks it up and he starts reading through it. And a little bit through, he gets to a page where it says, Dream's name is not Clay. He made that up, right? And he's like, I figured this out through my deductive reasoning. I know, like, and then going ahead a little bit more, Dream's hair is blonde, like looking like this. He doesn't actually live in Florida. He lives where I live. I've come to this conclusion. Does some more like page flipping, and that's where Sam's heart starts to drop. And it says, suspect for Dream, Sam, and then his last name. Hair, check. Voice, check. Like, I believe that this is actually him. I'll have to do some more research. And Sam keeps on flipping the pages, and he starts to get really freaked out because it is insanely detailed pages, page after page after page of details about him and like Sarah's conspiracy theories that he is actually Dream. And that's when he gets to the last page that says like Operation Interrogation. And he reads it and it spells out in plain English that Sarah is going to invite him, befriend him even closer, and then invite him over for a sleepover to interrogate him to prove that he is actually Dream. And when Sam has this book open, he hears a voice behind him saying, "So you found the book." And he turns around and it's Sarah. Real quick, comment Dream if you made it this far into the video. I just want to see how many people made it this far. I like seeing the names and faces. And I will try and heart a bunch of comments that say the secret word of the day, which is Dream. And also, if you want to support the channel even more than you've already done by watching this far and giving me the good watch time, which boosts the channel, all you got to do is binge watch these videos in one sitting, meaning sit down and either do something or try to go to sleep or draw or play video games and watch a bunch of videos in a row. And let me know in the comment section down below what you're doing like while you're watching my videos or how many videos you binge watched. I'll try and heart the comments, reply to them saying thank you, and even shout out random people who tell me how they support the channel, like this person on screen. Thank you. So shout out to this person as well as everyone else who's been supporting the channel in the last couple of weeks and forever really. And let's get back to the story. So at this point, right, Sam is petrified. He's at the house alone. His phone is in another room. It's probably not even charging. She's probably just taking it, like any source of communication. It's just him, and Sarah. And Sarah thinks that he is a Minecraft YouTuber Dream because he's blonde, he sounds like him, and she's gone crazy, right? And at this point, she wants to interrogate him to prove that he is actually Dream. So Sam is like, haha, yeah, I was just looking around. No, like, book? What? I just see you really like the Dream SMP. That's cool. I don't really watch Minecraft that much. She said, I know you'd say that. I know you'd try and back out of the truth. And Sam's like, what do you mean? And she's like, you saw the book, didn't you? And Sam's like, what book? And Sarah's like, oh, it's just a little book I have of, like, my favorite Dream characters. And Sam's like, and Sarah's like, oh, follow me. Sarah comes over, grabs his hand, and leads him downstairs. Leads him past the room where his phone was supposedly charging. His phone was gone. It wasn't charging, by the way. Sam's like, oh, where's my phone? She's like, oh, it's charging in a different room. Sam's like, Sarah continues to lead him downstairs and then kind of to this basement area. And Sarah's like, look, come on. I want to show you something. Drags him basically down the stairs to the basement, brings him down there, and it's like, okay, so, like, there's a really cool game over there, and I want you to go over there and get it set up. And Sam's like, what? And he turns around, Sarah's gone, and he hears running up the stairs. So, like, he starts turning around and starts, like, speed walking towards her, and Sarah's already ran up the stairs, slams the basement door shut, locks it. And Sam's like, yo, like, open up, like, what are you doing? And Sarah's like, I know it's you, Dream. And Sam's like, dude, what? What are you saying? And Sarah's like, I've been watching you for a while, and I know that it's actually you. You are Dream. I've been trying to figure out your true identity for the longest time, and I knew that, like, the red herring, Clay. Of course your name isn't Clay. That is a perfect idea, to tell everyone your name is Clay, and then it's actually Sam. Oh my god, I'm a genius. You should have changed your voice. You should have used a voice changer in your videos, because it's so obvious when I hear you speak that you are actually Dream. And Sam's like, dude, what are you talking about? And Sarah's like, try and keep this up and you'll stay down there forever. And Sam's like, so what are you gonna do when your parents get back? And Sarah's like, my parents are gone for the week. And Sam's like, well, my mom's coming tomorrow. And Sarah will say, I'm just going to tell her that you were walking home and you chose to walk home yourself. She's going to think then that you got abducted and something like that. And I'll have you for the entire week and you'll starve unless you admit it. And Sam's like, oh my God, this woman's insane. So he's looking around and there's no actual windows. There's only like a light. And Sam's like, okay, well, what are you going to do if I admit that I'm Dream? And Sarah's like, well, you got to admit it first. And Sam's like, okay, you got me. I'm actually Dream. And Sarah's like, yes, I knew it. Oh, Dream, I knew it. Now, I have the identity of the most popular YouTuber ever. What shall I do with it? And Sam's kind of like, yeah, so are you gonna let me out yet? And Sarah's like, no, I don't think so. And Sam's like, well, okay, well, you know the truth now. Like, what else do you want to know? And Sarah's like, well, I got to be certain, right? I need you to show me that you're logged into the Dream YouTube channel. At this point, Sam's like, what the fuck? Like, oh, this is the most insane thing I've ever... He says, okay, well, you got to bring me my phone then. And Sarah's like, well, I'm going to bring you your phone, and then you're going to give me your password. And Sam's like, no can do. I'm going to type in the password myself, or you're not going to see the Dream channel. Sarah's like, fine. Sam is so confused how that worked, but it did, so he's like, all right, screw it. We're going with this. And so Sarah, like, goes around. He hears her, like, because remember, Sam and Sarah are talking between a door at this point. And, he hears Sarah walk away, walk into a different room, get his phone, walk back. And Sarah's like, okay, I'm going to open the door, Dream. Sam still thinks it's hilarious. Now she's calling him Dream. And so she opens it, and Sam's like, all right, well, I'm going to get my phone. Grabs the phone, and is like, oh, so this has not been charging. It's at 5%. And Sarah's like, yep. And Sam's like, all right, cool, nice. All right, let me type in my password. So Sam starts to type his password, but is slowly moving himself into a position where he can bolt out of there. Because he's kind of remembered, he's putting in his head, he's like, all right, I gotta remember where the exit is. He's like, all right, got the phone. And turns around, starts sprinting. And Sarah's like, get back here, Dream. So Sam starts sprinting from the room to the room to the room to the room, closes doors behind him, knocks stuff over behind him. And she's like, get back here. Sam finds his way to the kitchen, gets out there, and starts like sprinting down because they live on a street, right? She starts sprinting down the street. And that's when he like hears a bell. And that's when he turns around briefly and sees Sarah getting on her bicycle, and Sam's like, oh my god, I can't ride a bicycle, but he's got the distance advantage. So he continues to run, and that's when he turns a corner and jumps into a bush, right? Jumps into a bush of another house, goes down there, and this is as still as possible. And he hears a bike approaching, and then a bike turn the corner, and then a bike stop. And Sam's like, she knows where I am. She must know where I am. Why did she stop right next to me? And Sam is in the bush as still as possible. And he hears the bike be just sitting there and then start to move again. And Sam watches as the bike goes down the street. And Sam is like, oh my god. Oh my god. So he sends a text to his mom saying, like, Mom, can you pick me up? And she immediately starts calling him, and he declines the call and says, hey, can you pick me up? And she says, answer my call. So Sam kind of peeks his head out, sees that Sarah's nowhere to be seen, and picks up the phone. And his mom's like, Sam, what's wrong? Like, why do you need to be picked up? And Sam's like, oh, there's just a little complication, and I just don't think this is a great idea for me to be here. And Sam's mom's like, okay, say less, I'm coming. So sure enough, and Sam's like, well, so can you actually pick me up, can you pick me up not at her house? And Sam's mom's like, what do you mean? Can you pick me up at the park that's, 5 minutes away from our house? And Sam's mom's like, why? And Sam's like, Mom, I'm just going to tell you when I get to the car. I can't explain now, but just pick me up there. And she said, okay, I'll be there in 20 minutes. So now Sam is like, puts down the phone. It's like, okay, I have an escape. Sam's phone is at 1% too. So he's so glad he made the call when he did. And he starts like moving in the backyards of people's houses. So he starts like going from house to house in the backyards. And then eventually he gets to the place where the park is. And he's about to like jump over the fence when he stops just to look. And thank God he stopped, because he sees in the very distance a bike approaching him. And sure enough, it is Sarah on the bike. She does not see him, but he sees her. So he ducks down and he waits as the bike passes by. Sarah's been doing loops around the entire block because she must be like, how did I lose Dream? And anyways, Sam, hops out, runs into the park, and like hides behind a bush or whatever, hides in a tree, hides behind some kind of shrubbery, waiting for his mom. And he waits and he waits and he waits. And that's when he sees a car pull up. And he sees the car pull up and he looks in, and sure enough, it's his mom. So he gets up, he sprints out, and he opens up the driver's side car seat. He hops in, closes it, and says, Mom, go, go, go. And, his mom's like, Sam, what? Like, where's your stuff? He's like, I'll deal with that later. He's like, no, and Sam's mom's like, no, let's go pick it up. And Sam's like, Mom, let's drive around the neighborhood. Let me tell you what happened, and then we will make a choice from there. So Sam's mom's like, all right, fine. So Sam's mom starts driving around the neighborhood, and Sam's mom's like, fine, Sam, all right, tell me the story.
Click on the video on
happened?
screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.